Randall.
An inmate at the Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
This is Randall Via. I'm currently serving 1,214 years in Red Onion State Prison for capital murder in Pound, Virginia in the USA. This is my podcast, Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoy listening to me today. I have another caller who called into my voicemail. This question came from Dustin.
Hey, Randy, this is me, Dustin. I reached out to you a few weeks ago after discovering your podcast, which was kind of a perfect timing in my life because, as I kind of mentioned briefly in my email to you, I'm going through kind of my own little crisis of my own. I have a lot of lifelong trauma from abusive parents, and it's caused me to have some trouble maintaining relationships, but fortunately, for the most part, I've been able to control my emotions, but lately, anger's really taken a toll on me. And just listening to your podcast, I just felt connected to what you were going through. When you mentioned your childhood and everything you went through, it was like, wow, it really got me sad that, you had to go through all that. And, I guess my main thing I want to know is, like, on the inside, how do you cope with certain emotions? Like, if you feel really angry, how do you deal with that on the inside? If you feel really sad, obviously here on the street, there's plenty of unhealthy coping skills, drinking, smoking. So I don't know if that's the same thing in the inside or not. For me, I try to write, just do my verbal diarrhea on a page, but sometimes it's just lately it's been coming out in unhealthy ways. So I'm just curious to see how you do with managing anger and other emotions on the inside. Thank you for your podcast, man. I found it on a Reddit page, and I've been binging watching your episodes nonstop for the past few weeks because it's really helping me a lot to open my eyes about life and everything. So keep doing the good job, man. Take care.
All right, Dustin, thank you for your question, first of all. It's, I've said this before, prison is an emotional pressure cooker. And as you said, on the street, y'all have coping mechanisms with, either drugs or drinking or, support groups or therapy, psychiatrists and so on and so forth. Sad to say, honestly, in here, we pretty much have the same thing. There's a lot of drugs. I get solicited all the time. Hey, white boy, you strip? Nah, man, I don't even know what that is, man, and I don't want to. We got drinking. We got dudes in here that make wine. They make some good stuff. So you have the unhealthy coping mechanisms in here. You have some dudes, they like to get loud. They like to scream, blah, 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 yelling and acting like a damn fool. You have some people that they hide themselves in television. They watch TV all day long. They just escape into that. For me, my escape is books. I can't get enough books. I love to read it. That's what helps me deal with my emotions a lot is, I go into these stories, and I get to be a part of their lives. And that's what helps me is to be a part of somebody else's life because then it's not just about me. I don't want to live in a world where everything is about me. I don't want to revolve around my own pain, around my own misery or my own sadness or my own hurt. So for me, I've mentioned this previously, but it bears repeating. When I get mad, when I get angry, I ask myself, am I going to kill this person over this? And when my answer comes back no, as it invariably does, I can let go of the anger. Like, I can deal with anger really, really easy. And the only reason I can deal with anger really, really easy is because I've been working on it for the past decade. And, I've gotten myself to a place where my anger no longer controls me. I control my anger. I'm in control of my anger. My anger does what I tell it to do. Frustration, however, has been whooping my ass. It has been straight up beating me down because that's one thing I have not yet found a coping mechanism to deal with frustration. And that's the emotion I have to deal with in here the most is frustration. I'm either frustrated that the COs for, what they do, because you got a lot of them will come in and cause problems. You got a lot of them will come in and they will short you on your rent. They will let you out late and they will put you back in early. And when you pull up on them to say, hey, wait a minute, man, we're supposed to get an hour, we're supposed to get 2 hours, we're supposed to get this, and we're supposed to get that. They want, get your ass back in the cell, I'll lock you. Look, man, dude, you have no idea. And it's just like you have to constantly deal with stuff like that. Then you got the inmates running around acting stupid. You got guys want to come and borrow stuff from me, say, hey, yeah, I'm going to pay you back on this thing. And then when that day comes, they don't want to pay me back. They ignore me. They act like I don't exist all of a sudden. I had to go chase my money. I got to go pull up on them, either out here in the pod or on the wreck yard. Look, man, where my stuff at, dude? You know what I'm saying? I had to chase my own money. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, men are supposed to be men. And there's a conduct that comes along with being a man that the overwhelming majority of people in prison don't know, and that includes staff members and prisoners. That includes both sides of the damn fence. So I don't know how to deal with frustration. It just whoops my ass daily. I'm trying different coping mechanisms. I'm trying different things to deal with it, breathing techniques. I'm constantly speaking positive things to myself. I'm constantly reminding myself, don't let this overwhelm you. I'm reminding myself, look, man, just walk away, I'm just trying whatever, but nothing really helps me to deal with it as easy as I can deal with my anger. Sadness in here, yeah, it's, that's just something you got to deal with in here, man. Sadness is that's just part and parcel. It comes with the territory. There's literally nothing you can do to escape being sad in prison, because you'll be watching TV or you'll be listening to music, and then you'll see something that will remind you of something on the street. Like, all right, for example, for me personally, as I've said before, a 43-year-old virgin, one of the things that I want the most out of this life is a wife. I want to be married, not just to have sex. Like, yeah, I want to. I'd like to know what that's like, what that feels like. I'd like to share that with someone. Yeah, that'd be a wonderful, beautiful thing. But when I'm watching TV sometimes, I'll sit there and I'll see, a guy just standing there, and his woman will walk up and she'll just like wrap, just hug him from the back, curl up on his lap or something. And like that right there hits me. Like that really hits me, because like I want those little small intimate moments. Like that's the thing I crave about a woman the most, is those little intimate moments. So like, and when I see that, like, damn, man, when is it going to happen for me, man? When am I going to get my time back? When am I going to get this opportunity to experience something so beautiful in life? I don't get very many beautiful moments in prison. And when I do get them, they're all spiritual. When I have a little spiritual breakthrough or something of that nature, yeah, it's a beautiful moment for me. But, like I want that little intimate moment. Like I want to come home. I'll see a little kid in a movie or TV show, the daddy will come in or the mommy will come in and they come running, mommy, mommy, daddy, daddy. Like, oh, man, it just breaks my heart that I don't have that. But I remind myself, hey, dude, just hang in there, man. Hang tough. Don't screw it up. Don't mess it up. You're closer than you realize. You've worked really hard for where you're at right now, for what you have and where you're at. And, so I'm constantly practicing self-talk. I'm constantly telling myself good things about myself, about my future, about my life, about my situation. I comfort myself with the fact that, hey, I'm the only person in a super maximum penitentiary that has a podcast. Not only do I have a podcast, because look, let's face it. I mean, anybody can record a podcast nowadays. It's not complicated. But my podcast is actually helping people. Unless everyone who has ever sent an email to my website is lying, saying that I helped them, I'm actually helping people from inside Red Onion State freaking prison. Yeah, I'm used to changing people's lives, all right, but for the worst. I'm used to hurting people. I'm used to taking people away or putting someone in a hospital or, something of that nature. Now, it's the reverse of that. Like I'm having an impact on people's lives, and not just my friends. Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. It's great, especially when I get to talk to them, on a regular basis, or I get to email them on a regular basis. But just people that I'll never know, people that have no desire to write me or reach out to me in any form, shape, or fashion, but yet they'll send an email and say, hey, keep up the good work, you're doing a good job, do this, or like whatever it is, like they're encouraging me to keep going, to keep doing what I'm doing. So, when I do get sad, when I do get frustrated and upset and, like sometimes I just want to quit, I have those moments, but it helps me. Like I remind myself of the good that I'm doing. I remind myself of the people's lives that I've touched. And, I remind myself of the people who've reached out to me and touched my life. People who have helped me. So that's how I deal with my emotions in here. I'm constantly talking to myself. I'm constantly reminding myself that this ain't worth it. Getting into fights ain't worth it. Yeah, just like, I said before, there's times I have to pull up on a guy. If he gets too out of line, I'm going to set you straight. But I've learned the art of walking up on someone and pulling them to the side and saying, hey, yo, look, man, I don't appreciate this. You're doing this, blah, 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 and it's wrong, so on and so forth. Like, I've learned how to talk to someone without it just automatically being aggressive or going to the next level. So these are things that you have to learn. You have to fiddle around with different things, even on the street. You have to find different ways of dealing with your emotions, because I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you do not learn to control your emotions, you will be a slave to your emotions. And you don't ever want to be a slave to your emotions, because that's what gets you in trouble. Guys in here are slaves to their anger. They're slaves to their frustration. That's why they're constantly doing the things that they're doing. That's why they're constantly getting in trouble. And, dude, you have CEOs here who will write you up simply for looking at them wrong. Like, it's so easy to catch a damn charge up here. It's so easy to catch a fake charge up here. But I've learned how to control my emotions. That helps me. And, it's not easy, and I'm still working on it. I've learned how to deal with all my emotions except for frustration. Frustration is the only one that's still whooping my ass. But I'm keeping at it. I'm not going to quit, and I'm not going to give up. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to lose. I refuse to lose. And I encourage you to keep fighting. I encourage every one of you who hears my voice, don't give up. Don't quit. Because that's the worst thing you can ever do for yourself or for anybody else or for this world. If you quit, you automatically lose. You automatically fail every single time you quit. This is the thing. I would rather fail trying than to fail not trying. At least I can sit there and look somebody in the eye and say, hey, man, I gave it my best. Yeah, I screwed up and I failed, but at least I tried. At least I did something to fix this or to make this better or to work on this. And I encourage you to do the same. Because if you don't, you're going to spend the rest of your life miserable. You're going to spend the rest of your life hopeless, floundering around, snatching at anything and everything you can. Don't live like that. Don't exist. Live. Remember, there is no beauty in your life without pain. There's no triumph without struggle. You need all of this hurt and this heartache. It makes you who you are. But it can make you better if you're willing to let it make you better. If you're willing to push yourself into the uncomfortable situations, if you're willing to go into these uncomfortable situations and be aware of it, you'll be like, okay, this is what I'm feeling. This is what's going on. This is what's happening. And this is how I'm going to deal with it. That's where you see true spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical growth in your life. But it's up to you. Nobody is going to do it for you because nobody can do it for you. If that was the case, nobody would ever be in prison, because there would be people out there who know how to do this, people out there who have mastered this. They'll just do it for you, and that ain't going to happen. Probably be nice if it could happen. I'm telling you right now, and I've met some dudes in here, buddy, that need it, and they probably need 5 or 6 of them helping them. They're that far gone. But you have to realize that this is something that you want to deal with. And it took me many years of my life to realize that, but I finally realized it. And now I'm just doing the best I can. I'm not perfect. You know, as I said in a previous podcast, I just pulled up on a guy ready to fight him because he's screaming out of at the top of his damn lungs while I'm trying to have a conversation on the phone, and can't nobody else on the phone hear. Can't nobody else on the phone talk to their families, you know, their children or their wives or moms or whatever, because this dude wants to scream and make a damn show like he's a tough guy. Yeah, he was a tough guy until I pulled up on him and said, shut the fuck up, man, I'm trying to talk on the phone. Give me the same respect I give you. And this is the thing. You have to confront the problem.
You have 1 minute remaining.
You cannot run from the problems in your life. You have to confront them. But this is the thing. You have to do it in a way where it's not overly aggressive. You have to be calm and cool. Now, in here it's a little bit different from the street. Sometimes in here you got to put a little more bass in your voice than I would on the street, but, you know, it is what it is. You got to judge the situation for yourself because every situation is different. But this has been Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoyed listening to me. For those of you who listen to me on Apple Podcast, I would appreciate it if you would review me and rate, preferably 5 stars, but I'll take whatever you think I'm worth. Don't forget to call my number at 1-888-524-1932 for U.S. And for international, just add a plus in front of the 1. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you for using GTL.